It's 2024 April, day 1539. Welcome back to this Growing Lemon Trees from Seed series. You can see there's these little black flies walking around on the cocoa coir. I don't know why that is. And you can see one crawling on one of the main stems over there. And you can see there's signs of hope. There's little green shoots, buds, leaf primordia coming out in at least 4 different spots that I can see here, but everything else is denuded and the bark's all cracked and stripped off. So if any of you know what kind of flies these are and why they're attracted to that and what they're doing, let me know in the comments. So as I said, there's still some hope, and the rest of the bark and the branches seems to be in really rough shape. So I almost lost hope for this, but I figured the main trunk is quite thick by historical standards, so there is some hope that there's living tissue, there's energy stored in there. And likewise, the root system seemed to have a bit of rot, but I figured by doing this transplant, maybe that can be saved as well. So here's just some more angles. You can see a little thread of webbing with perhaps some spider mites that are barely visible, contrasted against that dark shadow of a background kind of wisping around. So I started using Epsom salt with my Miracle-Gro fertilizer, and this was early April for all of my plants. So yeah, this is a bath salt, magnesium sulfate. When dissolved, it releases magnesium and sulfate ions. So it's reported to help seeds germinate, make plants grow bushier and greener. And I know that this is maybe not the best time to be, using additional fertilizer, because the literature seems to indicate like when plants are in survival mode, or you're doing trying to get a cutting to root or whatever, which is not the case here, but a lot of these situations seem to suggest, people suggest that you don't really need to fertilize or do anything, or really even water. But yeah, I was hoping that enough time has passed since I let the root ball dry out in this huge new mass of cocoa coir, and with the sun beating down on many days, I don't want it to dry out completely either. But yeah, this is my traditional formulation, a big scoop of this Miracle-Gro all-purpose plant food. And then I'll add 3.5 or 3 3/4 tablespoons of Epsom salt, and add 2 crushed vitamins. So yeah, this 1 big scoop of Miracle-Gro, it's a little dilute. Maybe in the future I'll start adding a little bit extra on top of that, just to get it to the recommended specifications. So this watering pail fills up to maybe 1.75 gallons typically. Like 2 gallons is too full. Like it starts sloshing out of the nozzle and the hole. So you can see on this 4th spoon, I'm going to put in slightly less than a full tablespoon. And seems like a lot of salt, but that's what everyone recommends online. So I'm just going to follow that, and I added in 2 crushed multivitamins to add calcium and trace metals that are not present in the Miracle-Gro. It's not a complete nutritional solution. And cocoa coir is made of shredded coconut husks, so it's very sterile. It's a very slow decomposing medium, so much slower than potting mix. So the cocoa coir is nutritionally very, almost completely deficient. So if you don't have anything in there, it's basically the plant has to go with whatever nutrition it has in itself and stored in its root system and tissues. It has like virtually no outside inputs to rely on, unless there's dead bugs, dead organic matter in there, which is certainly possible after you reuse the cocoa coir for like subsequent plant growing species. So it's not a perfect mix here, and I use cold tap water because I don't want to use warm or hot water, because that would shock the root system. And if I used warm or hot water, it would take forever to cool down, right? And I don't have that kind of time for so many very large planters and large plants to just sit around watching TV or browsing my phone waiting for this entire solution to cool down. It would just take forever. I guess another potential solution is I could get something much bigger, but even just holding this out weighs many pounds, many kilograms. So it's like it's possible to sometimes strain my shoulder, neck muscles by holding this out with my arms extended in awkward positions while watering. You have to hold it out for quite a while for all the fertilizer or water within to shower out. So yeah, maybe there's a better system. I haven't really dealt with this kind of scale until, like for instance, my ice cream bean tree got so big, and it continues to get bigger. And you'd be surprised at the water requirements, the watering requirements for flowers. Seems to be very, very high, and they seem to have very shallow root systems. And I'm not just talking about the California poppies. I tried a California wildflower packet around this time, I believe. So I'll be coming out with a series on that. So every time you see me watering with this watering can, it's fertilizer basically, because I have the shower nozzle hose wand in the front yard for just plain tap water. So that's what I use to wash stuff off and just provide very large quantities of water as quick as possible. So this is still April. It's day 1556. You can still see there's some buds that are moving very slowly, but there's a little bit of greenness on the outside of the bark for one of these like tiny little dead stems that's been clipped, and you can see some leaves coming out. So it definitely does seem that the plant is reactivating, but it's going so slow. And in San Diego, the weather is generally cold and cloudy up until some point in which it just gets too warm for that to happen, such as in June or July. And yeah, so this is still during the phase of early spring, where it's cold, it's cloudy, the nights are very cold still, and there's not that much sunlight. But nonetheless, it is spring, so I would typically expect something to happen much quicker. You can see a little bit of the bark is green here as well. So there's photosynthesis going on. It's still alive. You can see there's new leaf primordia coming out on top, a little higher here, but everything on the upper extremities seems to have died. The previous devastation was caused by caterpillar plagues, bird poop caterpillars, and also a confluence of other pests and infections, perhaps. You'll notice if you go back and watch the previous videos, the previous episodes, that the leaves never looked healthy. They did early on in the first half of 2023, if memory serves, but towards the end, it seemed like spider mites got everything, caterpillars got everything, and I wasn't providing a very obsessive level of care, which it seems like I do need to provide, and I need to provide a lot more pesticide, fungicide, things like that, miticides, which the Bayer BioAdvanced hopefully can do. So we have some random things growing in here. I don't know what that is. It looks like a very interesting plant, and there's going to be lots of footage later on in this video update that shows that progression of that. But yeah, if you know what these weeds are, please let me know in the comments. So yeah, you can see everything's going smoothly so far. I like how the leaves are dark and relatively unblemished at this point, but that's always how it seems to happen for my lemon plant. And then as the leaves get bigger, it seems like there's always some kind of a invisible pest problem, such as spider mites and other pests as well. So Historically, I figured out this plant, the lemon and the mango tree, are what have the most ailments. And I would actually say the mango had less problems than this. And this is grown from seed, so there's going to be some kind of reversion to wild type. And I would think that would perhaps mean that it's maybe more healthy than your typical fruit orchard, commercial tree that produces lemons, etc. But that doesn't seem to be the case in my experience. So this has been through a lot of trials and tribulations, and it just always seems to, face collapse even when things are looking really good. So yeah, the bird poop caterpillars, if you don't pay attention, a giant swallowtail butterfly will dart around and lay eggs all over. And then those caterpillars grow very, very quickly. And if you're not paying obsessive attention to your plants, they can devour all of the foliage within 2 or 3 weeks. So going forward throughout the rest of 2024, I'll have to apply this Bayer BioAdvance 3-in-1 insect disease and mite control over and over, because it seems like you can't go too long without some sort of pesticide or disease control. Otherwise, everything just ends up like it did at the end of 2023 for this lemon tree. So you can see the leaves are starting to grow. This is the weed that's nearby. It's getting pretty big, and you can see there are some little leaves near the main stem that are burned, maybe from that ring of bath salts that's approaching, emanating from the base of the trunk of the lemon. And you can see there's a little bit of burn here on some of these leaf tips. Now that could be due to predation by mites, or it could be fertilizer burn. But yeah, I mean, that doesn't really explain why, if it's fertilizer burn, why is it burning now and not earlier, right? So this thing is still infested by spider mites, I imagine, and I'll just have to keep spraying with Bayer 3-in-1 and hope for the best. So I pruned away nearly everything. Only one branch had green cambium underneath the bark live tissue. So yeah, when the bark is cut away or pared away with a knife, for instance, you'll see that green layer underneath. And if it's not green, then you know that it's just dead wood. So we got a lot of dead wood around here. Every other place I pruned with the pruning scissors is just like completely dead and dry. So you can just safely assume that there's only green cambium where you see all these new shoot systems coming out of. So it's coming out pretty dense, and I expect that maybe one of these will be favored and grow faster than the others. So out of all that dead wood, this is all that's left, but it's pretty thick. It's as thick as a finger, so at the base of the trunk, maybe more. So that's a promising sign, and I think the root system should have recovered by now. Although I have no means of digging in there to examine everything. I would just be ripping up the roots, right? So you can't see the root system in most cases, and you just have to go by experience and hope that it's all healed from the root rot from me overwatering in that very little pot. I had to overwater because the little, I don't know if they call them like 5-gallon pots that I bought on Amazon I was using in 2022, 2023, those things dry out very quickly once the plant reaches a certain size. So you can see the foliage here. I mean, yeah, it's growing quickly, but it's not like 100% healthy looking. Like in this area, it seems to be, but I can almost bet you that after a few weeks, you're going to see some burn spots. So I thought the bath salts would help with this problem, because it seems to have worked pretty well for all my other plants, but it's not perfect either. So yeah, of course I'm growing these in cocoa coir because I don't have the means to haul hundreds of pounds of actual dirt and earth and like back to my front yard and from the wild and use them in these planters, nor can these big square planters sustain that much weight over the long haul without breaking. So yeah, this is at a later date. Things are looking pretty good. You can see there's minimal burning here. And on this side, yeah, there's a little bit of burning, but there's also a lot of lush, nice looking new foliage that's coming out. It's shades of yellow, green, green. Yeah, the green looks pretty verdant, so it's not like a sickly green or yellowish green. So I think the plant health is recovering. That must mean the root system is doing pretty well, and the fertilization is pretty close to what this plant needs. So yeah, there's a lot of new leaves developing all over the base of this trunk. And we'll just see how this turns out to be for the rest of 2024. I expect this to continue. There really shouldn't be any obstacles. And if I'm spraying with pesticide once every or twice every month, then that should prevent any problems, I hope. But yeah, as you can see, as the days go by and it gets warmer, this is looking better and better. But yeah, there's a deformed leaf in the middle on the right, which is it's nothing that I did wrong. It's just seems these lemons grown from seeds just keep doing that. But then again, I really don't have a frame of reference, right? This is just one plant out of original. I had quite a few seedlings. Was it 5 in the beginning? And then this was the one that survived and that I kept, because even if they had survived for much longer, I can't keep like this many, right? So eventually got winnowed down to 2 and then to 1. So here you can see I'm fertilizing with more Miracle-Gro all-purpose plant food, Epsom salt. Since this is in a state of recovery and resurrection figuratively, I don't typically water with the full watering can capacity. So yeah, you'll see me just stop there, and then I go to some other pot and wash it off the leaves here and dilute it a little bit to evenly wet the soil. But yeah, you can see the California wildflowers. It's a typical example of how things that aren't grown in the ground, you know, they tend to fall over, and they don't have very deep root systems. That's what I found. So the cocoa coir on top, after I removed them, was all it was all bone dry. But I knew that the water reservoir below still had some water in it. So yeah, this is a manual application on June already of the Bayer Bio Advanced, because I'm not going to get out the backpack sprayer like every single time. And I don't think there's really any harm in applying this maybe a little bit more frequently. But I think if I do this quite often, then the leaves should stay healthy. And if I stop doing this for maybe 1 or 2 months, then everything's going to go downhill pretty quickly again. So this is 2024 July, day 1630. So yeah, it's been slightly over 4.5 years, and unfortunately, due to the caterpillar and mite plagues, I'm still recovering, starting. It's not from scratch, because the rootstock is ultimately what's most important. But you can see there's some kind of insect, winged insect up there on the underside of one of those leaves. So I think the key is to apply pesticide diligently for the rest of this plant's life to get good results, or even just for survival, because we've seen many times, left to its own devices, what happens. And a viewer did suggest Phycin 20, which is something I haven't tried yet. I bought it and then I just didn't try it because the warning labels are very scary. But that seems to be an algicide, fungicide, bactericide, viricide. So I might have to try that at some point. And also my existing Bayer Bio Advanced is quite an old bottle, so I might have to renew that or look into something new. So that's it for this update at 4.5 years. I hope this renews and lifts your spirits regarding my lemon tree. Thanks for watching.